So as we all know, Sims 4 is here to stay. So as we're entering 2025, I thought I could share my own little wish list of what I want to see in Sims 4. Before we start, I did not design this template, I just edited one from the internet, and I'll link down the original below. First of all, we'll be doing expansion and game packs and kind of stuff packs too. I think an Olympics expansion pack could be really cool. I thought it would be able to add new sports, like you could add gymnastics, you could add like track and field, swimming, archery. It would also be a new way to have like a new community lot and a cool venue that's different from gyms. And also expand on like fitness and also maybe create new skills. Like running could be a different skill that you can like build up over time to become a better runner. Kind of like how you can become a better swimmer or have a kid be better at biking by building up their fitness skill. It'll be like that, but it'll be a totally different skill. And I think that could just be a fun way to incorporate more fitness activities. Now, I think this is one of the highest requested packs to come, and I honestly really want it too. I feel like I always make my Sims who are in like the music career songwriters or like guitarists, but they always have to like learn other instruments too, like the violin. They can't just like learn the piano. So I would love a pack that just kind of like lets you have different like bands or different singers, and then or just like even just songwriters, like just people who write music. And it'd be also really cool if they could like tour around different worlds. You can have a whole bunch of different concert venues and just like also just adding new instruments. Like we want drums in The Sims 4. Maybe in the pack you could even like have people performing at smaller scales, like not entirely like giant concert venues, but even like playing at like a coffee shop or something and being able to make a little bit of money that way. Another very requested one, and one I would love to see in The Sims 4, is hotels. So obviously you'll be able to build your own hotels and like run them, and then also like employ people and like choose their outfits. Of course, you'll also be able to go to hotels. I think it would probably work a lot like vacation rentals, but it's just like almost like a spa kind of vibe. And this would also be a good way to like incorporate multifunctional lots, which we'll get into later. Like honestly, I'd be happy with this just being like a game pack that just like did not come with the world and just added like hotels as a whole. Like avoid all of the other like fancy like creating a whole world, just give us the ability to make hotels and run them. So this one I'm not entirely decided how it would exactly work, but I thought a royalty and or politics pack could be kind of interesting, where you could have like royal families and like lineages that, and like legacies that like go on forever and generations upon generations of people who like rule over a town. It would kind of override the neighborhood action plans by Eco Lifestyle, but I kind of don't really like those, so I'd kind of be okay if there was an expansion pack that kind of overwrote those, and that a like ruler that you can either elect or is just like a monarch is the one that like makes those rules and kind of like changes how the town works. And I know that like some people really want a like medieval pack, but personally, since The Sims 4 takes place in like modern day, I just don't see it like fitting unless there's like time travel, and that's just something I'm not super interested in. So I didn't include it in this, but I know like a lot of people want that too, and I think it could work. Another thing I know a lot of people want and I want are more hobbies. So this could include stuff like pottery or like scrapbooking, dancing, like new dancing skill where there's like ballet or like contemporary or tap dancing, or even like glass blowing, just like more stuff your Sims can do to make things. And then of course you can like always sell it too, which is always really fun. I'd rather this be just like one big expansion or one big game pack with a bunch of stuff, rather it being like a bunch of small ones just like take our money, but we know that's what EA is gonna do anyway. Now elders, we all know elders in The Sims 4 needs more love, and I honestly want retirement homes. And I know in real life like retirement homes, depending on the country you're in, can be like a little bit looked down on, but like I always want somewhere for my elder Sims or like my Sims parents to go after I move out and stop playing with them, because I feel like they just like stay in their home till they die. So it'd be nice to have somewhere I could send them where they're like still hanging out with other people. And then it also gives you like more reasons to plan with your family to go see your grandparent. And then also in this pack you could like add like bingo and like other elder activities or board games. And lastly, the cult that everyone wants is fairies. Now don't attack me, but I don't really see a big difference between like spellcasters and fairies of like ability wise, outside of the really cool visual aspect of like the fairies and maybe them being able to shrink and become smaller. And maybe they would have different kind of spells that are more like nature or elemental based. But I think if they did add fairies, I think they should add a cool little like fairy world that's like smaller than the normal worlds. I got a random idea, I don't know if this should actually be used, where like they can fly into like the tiny little like fairy homes, and then like inside of it you can kind of decorate it almost like an apartment. Or honestly what I'm thinking of is like kind of like Webkins, where it's just like a bunch of rooms connected in like a void. But that way it would make sense why they would have to fly into like a tiny home that kind of goes into a whole new dimension in its own way. But it would also be cool if they could just incorporate whenever you build a home on like a certain lot, it looks tiny compared to like normal size houses. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that. Now here are some worlds I would love to see. I honestly didn't include a whole lot. Worlds can like depend on person to person, and for me it's more about like inclusivity. I think we've touched on almost every continent on Earth besides like Africa. So African inspired worlds. I know there's like a little bit of controversy on the internet about like how they would do this, but I think people forget that like Africa is very beautiful. Have never been, but would love to. So the South Africa, or even like Cairo, Egypt, with all the cool architecture, could be really cool to have in The Sims 4. And you could also expand on the archaeology as well. Or there's even like small towns like this one, or like this one, that would also work. I would love a livable alien world. Sixum is cool and it's like fun to visit, but I would just love somewhere where I could actually send my aliens to live. Aliens are probably one of my least favorite occults in The Sims 4. I think they're really fun for like the chaoticness of like getting abducted and accidentally having an alien baby. But I think incorporating a world where you can actually live in it, there's lots, multiple lots, and then aliens can actually live there and you can go visit it. Maybe you have to take a spaceship or one of those portals to get there, but at least it's livable. Now I would love to see a new base game world. So as we know, Sims 4 is now free to play. So I think now they should add a new base game world. It could be empty like Newcrest, or even better, I think just having a bunch of Sims 4 creators create the lots for it would be really major. I think it would be a good way to draw new players to the game and have them actually stick with the game, because there'll be a whole fourth world for them to explore and play in outside of just like Newcrest. Now there are two things I would just love to see. One of them is imaginary friends. So I never played The Sims 3. I know this was like a part of it, I believe. I don't know, I think it came with a pack. And honestly, I think it's so cool. And how as you like get older, your imaginary friend either becomes real or it just like fades away. I would just like love to see it incorporated in The Sims 4 and just like adds a whole other part for the kids. And of course there is spiral staircases. I don't need to say anything on this. We all want spiral staircases. So here are some quality of life improvements. These are things that either should just be like patched into the game for free. Actually, no, they should just be patched in the game for free, in my opinion. And first are multifunctional lots. I would be okay if this did come with like a game pack or even like an expansion pack. But I would love to have like a restaurant next to a coffee shop, or like what most people build and are gonna use all the time are having apartments or homes above their like businesses, or even just like random businesses. Like being able to live above a library or live above a like coffee shop would like be such a major thing to have in The Sims 4, and I think would change the game completely. And I know this would be like a massive amount of work and may like never happen, but I thought I could use a lot of the same kind of UI that residential rentals do, where you can designate areas to be units, but instead of being units, they'd be lot types. And I would honestly even be fine if it's like residential rental where the other units, like you can't see them and you have to like go through a loading screen. And by going through that loading screen, you can then go to your business. I just like want them to be on the same lot. And I know a lot of people will have problems with that, but that honestly doesn't bother me that much, because that's just like kind of how The Sims 4 is built. And especially if there's two lots that have different kind of people going to them, I feel like Sims would get very confused about which one they're supposed to go to or which one they were like assigned to go to. So I think having it that way, you'd be pretty much fine. But yeah, I just think this would be really major. People build these lots. I've built these lots. And even just like imagine being able to have like a garage next to your home and even be able to run like a very tiny business outside of that. Like it just would do so much and change The Sims for like forever. Kind of like how residential rentals kind of did if it worked a little bit better. All right, so swimming revamp. So if you guys don't know, a lot of the older worlds, like the what should be swimmable areas are not swimmable. This is really obvious in places like Brindleton Bay or Windenburg, where it's like surrounded by water, but you can't go in it. So I would love for there just to be like a patch that basically like fixes the swimmable areas, because you really should be able to swim in some places in Brindleton Bay. Kind of with the same idea, occult revamps. This will likely never happen, but I want mermaids, I want aliens, and I want alien hybrids to have their own occult trees. It's kind of unfair that because they were like sooner occults, they don't get any love. I just think they'd be a lot more fun and more playable if they had trees you could use. And I also just like want hybrid aliens to have something special about them besides just like what they look like. Like it's kind of crazy they don't have any abilities, but normal aliens do. Even if they have like less abilities than normal aliens, they should have something. And like while they're at it, they should just like do Plant Sims too. They should just incorporate that into the Sims permanently. So this one is a little random, but like social media, I would love for them just like fix it. There are like 3 or 4 different kind of social medias in The Sims 4, and they're all different, and I'd love for them just like consolidate it, or at least get them like connected to each other somehow. It's like you can get like 1 million followers on like Simstagram, but then Social Bunny have like 4, and I'd love for them just like to be connected. So especially for like Get Famous and stuff, where you like become famous, it actually makes sense why you're famous based on the amount of followers throughout all of them. Would just love for it all to be a little bit more connected, because it's a little bit confusing. So yeah, that's it. That's all my ideas. This is what I would love to see in The Sims in 2025. I think I'd be lucky if like 2 of these happen. And I know I'm posting this a little later and everyone else already has posted their wish list, but I like avoided those while I was making this as to not try to like steal anyone's ideas. So yeah, thank you for watching. Have a great 2025 and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.